Let's not dance around it. A Team USA head coach doesn't just vanish in the middle of a tournament unless something went very wrong. And that's exactly why people are still talking about Cara Lawson and what really went down during that World Cup qualifying run. Because on the surface, Team USA was winning. But if you actually watched those games, you could feel it. Something was off. So here's the real story, the one that doesn't show up in the box score. You had Caitlin Clark, the most talked about player in women's basketball, coming into an international tournament with all the momentum in the world. And what happens? She's coming off the bench. Not once, not twice, 4 out of 5 games. Now pause right there. You're telling me the most electric guard in the sport, the player who warps defenses just by stepping over half court, is being used like a role player? That already raised eyebrows. But then game 1 happens. Clark checks in limited minutes, doesn't even start, and casually rewrites the record books. We're talking historic assist numbers, instant impact, the kind of performance that makes you go, yeah, she's different. And the response? Back to the bench. At that point, fans weren't just confused, they were getting irritated. Because the offense, it looked stuck in mud. Slow sets, half-court grind, veterans holding the ball, possessions dragging deep into the shot clock. It wasn't bad basketball, it just was asterisk this team's best basketball. And here where it gets interesting. That style lines up with what Stephanie White has talked about before: controlling pace, fitting players into a system, making sure everything runs properly. Sounds good in theory. But in reality, you had a Ferrari being driven like a minivan. Clark's entire game is built on speed, anticipation, chaos in transition. She sees plays before they happen. When you slow that down, you don't just limit her, you flatten the entire offense. And the numbers quietly backed it up. Team USA was winning, sure, but they weren't overwhelming anyone. No rhythm, no fear factor, just functional. Then came the Puerto Rico game. And this is where everything started to crack. Clark's minutes cut again. Puerto Rico throws a box and one at her, basically saying, "We don't care about anyone else, she's not beating us." And instead of punishing that, the offense stalled. No adjustments, no counters, no urgency. It felt like watching a team ignore the obvious solution, sitting right there on the bench. Fans noticed, commentators noticed, even casual viewers could see it. And after the game, Lawson gets asked directly about Clark. Perfect chance to clear things up right. Instead, deflection, generic answer, no real explanation. Didn't even properly acknowledge what Clark had done. That moment, that's when people really started connecting dots. Then she disappears. No big announcement, no clear explanation. Next game tips off, and suddenly Nate Tibbetts is on the sideline running the team. And if you know anything about how these things work, that doesn't just happen randomly. Someone made that call. Quietly. Now here where it flips. First move Tibbetts makes. He starts Caitlin Clark. That's it, no long speech, no slow adjustment period. Just, you're the engine now. And instantly, everything changes. They play New Zealand, and it's not even close. 55-point win. Not because the roster suddenly got better, but because the system finally made sense. Clark pushing in transition, early passes, open looks, defense scrambling. It looked like a completely different team. Same players, different philosophy. And it didn't stop there. Next game, they lean even further into it. 3-guard lineups, Clark alongside Kelsey, Plum and Paige, Bueckers. Spacing improves, pace goes up, decision-making speeds up. And suddenly, Team USA isn't just winning. They're blowing teams out. 30 points, 40 points. And more importantly, it looked asterisk easy asterisk. Meanwhile, Clark's numbers. They're ridiculous when you zoom out. She led Team USA in efficiency, plus-minus playmaking, and led the entire tournament in multiple categories. Not just her team. Everybody. Every country. And she did that while coming off the bench for most of it. Let that sink in for a second. So naturally, the question starts getting louder. What happens if she starts every game? What happens if the system was built around her from day one? Because what we saw under Tibbetts wasn't some miracle. It was just common sense. Put your best decision-maker in control. Play fast. Let her read the games. That's it. And here's the bigger picture that goes beyond just one tournament. This wasn't just about wins and losses. This was about direction. About identity. About how the game is evolving. Because Clark isn't just another star, she's shifting how teams think about pace, spacing, and offensive freedom. You could even see the ripple effects heading toward the Indiana Fever. Because remember, Stephanie White is right there, watching all of this unfold in real time. Two completely different approaches played out back-to-back. Slow it down, control everything, vs let it fly and trust your playmaker. And the results? Not subtle. So when people ask, did Cara Lawson sabotage Caitlin Clark? That's where it gets tricky. Because nobody's going to come out and say that. But when a coach disappears mid-tournament, and the very first adjustment instantly unlocks the team, you don't need a press release to understand what happened. Now I'm curious where you stand on this. Do you think Clark was misused early on, or was the slow approach actually the right call at first? Drop your take in the comments, because this is one of those debates that's not going away anytime soon. And if you're enjoying this kind of real behind-the-scenes breakdown, hit like, subscribe, stick around, because the WNBA right now, it's getting very interesting. At the end of the day, this tournament gave us something rare. A real-time experiment. Two coaching philosophies. Same roster. Completely different results. And right in the middle of it, a 22-year-old changing the entire conversation. Appreciate you for watching.